invite someone to join us as we come together. Welcome. We're going to get started in just a moment. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Drop a hello in the chat so I know where you're joining us from. Drop a hi, tell me, or drop the flag of your country. Drop the flag of your country wherever you're joining us from. And let us know where you're tuning in from. Say hello, Millie Z. It's Taurus, Queen. Welcome, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today I want to be sharing a little bit on, cultivating winning habits. So wherever you're joining us from, I hope you can stay tuned. And as you know, we focus on the marketplace, but you can ask questions, drop your comments in the chat, and we'll be sharing. All right. We've got people joining us from all over, and this is exactly what I love. Give me just a moment while we invite others to come in. Welcome to those joining us on YouTube, those joining us on various platforms. Just say hello in the chat, drop your flag, give us a wave in the comments. All right. So for those of you who are not familiar with me, I'm Dr. Stephanie, and I'm a professional coach, public health professional. I'm an author, marketplace minister, and I'm the founder of Waymakers Alliance, a global movement of marketplace ministers. And tonight I want to share something that literally stopped me in my tracks on a retreat in rural New South Wales, Australia. So I'm going to be around for the next couple of minutes. All right. And I'm going to teach, you're going to ask questions, and by the time we're done, you're going to see your week completely differently. All right. So can you stay with me for a couple of minutes so we can go through this together? If you want to share, please just drop a tick or a yes in the chat if you're going to stay. All right. So welcome. Welcome to our session. Ava, lovely to see you. Tanya, Gombo, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please also, while you're here, just make sure you like the stream so we can invite others to come along. All right, so picture this, right? I'm on a retreat on a beautiful property, rolling green acreage as far as the eyes can see. And I wake up early in the morning, right? Early in the morning, I wake up, getting out to do my morning devotion. And as I look outside, I see this tiny little robotic lawnmower just quietly doing its rounds, all right? And the lawn was already very immaculately groomed, but there it was. No fanfare, not making any noise. Yeah, the lawnmower was just going about its business. No audience, just faithfully cutting the grass, faithfully cutting every blade of grass that dared to grow past its assigned height. And I felt like God was whispering to me, just watch the mower, pay attention to the lawnmower. That mower was programmed for a task, given a schedule, and left to its assignment. It didn't panic yet about the size of the field. It didn't try to be a tractor. It just showed up every single day. The lawnmower was faithful in showing up to its code. And I want to ask you, as you tune in today, what is your code? I want you to drop in the comments, what is your code? What code do you operate on? Or what word describe how you show up to your work every day? Are you consistent, frantic, tired, faithful? Just be honest and just drop in the chat. Let me know, how do you show up at work? All right. Great. So consistent, faithful, yeah, motivated. That's right. Full of energy, energetic, proud, strong, consistent. I love the honesty. And here's what I want to tell you. The kingdom of God doesn't reward the loudest. It doesn't reward the most intense. The kingdom rewards the most faithful. And that is what tonight is all about. All right. So the first thing I want to share with you is every month I prepare what we call the Waymaker's Intelligence Report. And in that, I share some strategic information about how we can show up at work. And this month, our strategic briefing for marketplace ministers, our entire theme is focused on victory. Victory as a habit. So look, the world tells you that victory is a moment, doesn't it? A big launch, viral post, a promotion, a big break. But the kingdom teaches something completely different. Victory is the result of the thousand small, quiet, obedient actions persistently performed under the guidance of the Spirit. Now, let me give you three things the Mower taught me. And I'm going to weave in some wisdom from a framework that we call the Daniel Mandate. 9 keys to marketplace victory, drawn straight from the life of Daniel. Why Daniel? Daniel is the ultimate marketplace minister. All right. So our very first point I want to share is we have to get started before the noise. We must get started before the noise. Here is it. In Daniel 6, verse 10, it tells us that Daniel prayed 3 times a day, even when there was a decree that could get him killed for doing it, right? He didn't start praying after lions showed up. He was already in the position before the crisis. So I call this first voice consistency. So here's my question to you. Who is the first voice that you hear in the morning when you wake up? What voice do you hear first? Who speaks to you first thing in the morning? Before you check your phone, before you check your emails, before you look at all the notifications, before you check your Slack or your Monday.com, before you do the school run, who gets the very first prime time of your day? That first moment. Because the truth is, right? The truth is, if God is the first voice you hear, he will be the first voice that speaks through you in the marketplace. And even the pagans will take notice, right? When God's voice is the first voice you hear, his voice becomes the truth that leads you through the entire day, right? Now, I need to know who is here. Have any of you got a morning routine that you follow? Give me a yes or a no in the chat. Do you have a morning routine you follow? Ibrahim, is there a morning routine that you follow? Let me know. Drop drop an emoji, smiley face emoji in the chat. Let me know if there's a morning routine that you follow, right? No, drop a drop a sad face if your morning routine involves finding your socks, your keys, and running out the door, right? All right. So basically, the first thing is you must start your morning before the noise. Start before the noise because it's important that the first voice you hear is a voice of the Spirit. Second thing, stay in your lane. The mower, that little lawn mower that I saw, It it never once tried to be a tractor. It never looked at the big machinery across the field and thought, I need to do what they're doing. It just faithfully worked its designated acreage. But how many times we get exhausted, right? How many of you are exhausted right now because we are doing the tractor's work with the mower's design? Can I say that again? How many times we get distracted on trying to be the tractor while God wants us to just be a faithful mower, right? We are trying to scale, we're trying to disrupt, we're trying to be influencers, we're trying to be everywhere, to do everything, serve everyone. We want to be, burning the candle at both ends. Not because we are weak, but because we stepped out of our assignment. So Daniel says this: we must serve the mandate over money. We must firstly align our environment over mandate. Yes? Align your environment to your mandate. Never shift your mandate to fit your environment. You must be attracted to, you must be attracted to the mission that God has given you. Be attracted by the mission, not the money. If you steward the mission, the resources will sustain you. And that's been my experience. The third key says, know your source. The strength to stand in your sphere of influence is not generated in the boardroom, right? You can't wait to get to work before you get sharp on your game, right? It you get strength, your strength comes from your source, right? And you generate that strength in your prayer closet. Daniel 1 verse 8 tells us that there came a point in time when Daniel purposed in his heart, right? That before he ever stood before kings, he already decided who he belonged to, right? He said, I will not defy the one I serve in order to, be noticed or to become famous. He was faithful to the God that he served. Now, I can see several of you here on TikTok. If you have comments about what we're saying, please let me know your own perspective, Leah, right? What do you think about this? What is your priority when you wake up in the morning? And can you please tap the screen for me and let others know we are here? All right? All right. So the next point is, are you currently in your assigned location where you are called to be? Or are you trying to mow someone else's field? Right? Drop a leaf or a free emoji in the chat to let me know if you are in your assigned area. And you can drop a tractor emoji in the chat if you feel like you are doing way too many things, right? I want you to know that there's no shame in acknowledging that you are feeling a bit pressured, right? There's no shame in acknowledging that you have so many things on your plate sometimes and it feels as if you are mowing somebody else's lawn, or you are being a tractor and not a mower. All right. Now the third thing I want to talk about is excellence and consistency. Now, if you have ever read the story of Daniel in the Bible, you will hear about three other young men who were in the story with Daniel. They were called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? Now, Daniel and these three companions were found to be 10 times better than everyone else. Daniel and his companions were tested against the other young people who were in that location, right? Not because they had the best CV, not because they were more qualified, not because they had a bigger network or they had somebody on the inside who was curry favoring them, but because they were committed to continuous development as a spiritual requirement. What does that mean? They kept learning, they kept growing, they stayed excellent. And this was not because of any applause. This was because they believed that excellence was their act of worship. Excellence was a part of their identity. They did not want to just show up like everyone else. They kept learning, and because they kept learning, they kept growing. And because they kept growing, that produced the excellent spirit that they had. And here's what I want you to hear: kingdom excellence is the magnet for divine favor. Kingdom excellence is the magnet for divine favor, right? So it ensures that you stand before kings rather than mean men, right? According to Proverbs 22, verse 29. So back to my story of the mower. The mower doesn't take days off because nobody is watching, right? For sometimes we get a little bit slack, isn't that true? We go to work, and because nobody's watching, we use the time to do so many other things, and we don't make up back the time, right? But excellence is something that we model whether people are watching us or not. Yeah. So it we don't slack off because the lawn already looks good. We maintain the standard every single day, whether it rains or whether it shines. And this really is about excellence. And when we are excellent, this attracts favor, right? The most immaculately groomed business or ministry or, professional life, whether you're in ministry, whether you're serving in the community, wherever, those who are groomed and we are led by people who labor quietly behind the scenes. The applause we don't achieve much when the applause is happening. The achievement actually happens behind the scenes. So we fuel our work with our prayers, not performing for an audience, but faithful to our calling. This is really where it comes from. And I want to hear from you. I know some of you are joining us. Please let us know where you're joining from. Drop an emoji in the chat. Let us know which country. Give us the flag for the country you're joining us from, and let us know who is watching, right? But I want to hear from you. What is one area of your professional life where you feel like God is calling you to raise the standard of excellence right now? I want you to drop that in the chat so we can have a conversation about it. And don't be shy. This is a safe space, and I'd love to hear from you. So, Philwiki, Amir, Ibrahim, Leonie, let us know. Is there any area in your professional life where you feel like you want to grow some more? You want to see yourself growing more deeply, want to see you want to see yourself becoming more consistent, operating on that level of excellence or greater intensity. Let us hear from you in the chat. All right. Don't be shy. All right. Okay. Let's continue. The next thing I want to talk about is the fact that we don't have to be, we don't have to allow the environment or the situation to overwhelm us. We don't need to feel overwhelmed because everyone struggles at some place or the other in their career. And I want to invite you to really sit with this idea and think about where you are in your own professional journey. Hi, Asha. Where are you now in your professional journey? And what areas might you feel that you need to become more consistent, more committed in terms of applying a code? And we talk about code, it's about being consistent. Being consistency is really about always showing up and doing the work, right? So there's commitment. Commitment is really about making a decision to stay faithful to the assignment that you are given. But consistency is that you show up week after week and do what you plan to do, right? And this is so important because oftentimes we want to be the best. We want to be noticed. We want to be, recognized as the leader in our field, but we don't show up consistently. And I'm speaking to myself, right? If we are not consistent in the way we show up for the people that we want to serve, the people who need what we are offering, then oftentimes people can, those who need us don't find us because we're not consistently presenting, not consistently being where we are meant to be. And this applies at work. Yes, it's important that we are showing up consistently for that promotion you are looking for. If you don't consistently do good quality work, if you don't consistently do, you know, be punctual, you're not showing up early all the time, what happens is those people who show up consistently, they may not be as excellent as you in terms of their skills, in terms of their abilities, and so on. But because they're consistent, they're always there. Whenever there's a problem, they're always there. People can always find them when they need them. Those are the people who get selected for the promotion. They're the ones who get selected for the extra duties. They're the ones who get selected for the opportunities when they show up because you were not in your place, right? And this is where we oftentimes fail. And sometimes we blame others for stealing the opportunities, right? We blame people for taking away opportunities that we should have received when in fact we were not in the right place. So I want to just recap some of what we've said, that to be able to start off, to get our victory, there are a few things that we must make sure that we are, you know, curating, we are make sure we are stewarding in order to ensure our victory. So number one, we must wake up early and start before the noise. And starting before the noise is really about being quiet, to hear, to listen, to legislate what your day is going to look like. What am I going to do today? How am I going to show up today? What are the things that I need to focus on? And what wisdom am I receiving from my own higher power, my own spiritual voice that speaks to me? Right? We must be in position and we must listen to God to hear from Him before we start our day, right? This is how we know the truth. This is how we know what's happening today. This is how we know what's on His agenda for the day and ensure that what we are doing is completely aligned with what He's doing. The second point is we must stay in our lane. Oftentimes, we are busy doing other people's work. Oftentimes, we are busy trying to be somebody else, busy trying to, be the person that we were never called to be. And this is where we miss out and we lose our own momentum. And we can also lose our reward because we spent so much time trying to do something that we were never assigned, right? So we must faithfully serve, faithfully show up, be consistent with what we were called to do. And to do this, we must remember the mandate. What are you called to do? Some of us, we don't even know our own mandate. Am I correct? Please give me an emoji and a thumbs up in the chat if you are still with me. We must know the source of our strength, know the source of our power, know the source of our wisdom, right? And never detour from that, never deviate from that. We must also know, we must also be consistent, right? And the third thing is We must show up consistently and not just intensely, right? This is about making sure, this is about making sure that we are cultivating winning habits. DJ Taz, we are talking about cultivating winning habits at work, right? How do you, whatever your work looks like. So if your work is, you know, if you're a DJ or you entertain people for a living, and when you today you say you're a DJ, then tomorrow you don't show up to engage with your clients. Next day you come back, you say you're a DJ, and no one comes to you're not there when your fans show up. So how do you then convince people that you are actually truly a DJ? If you say, "Hi, DJ Taz, just tap the screen for me and give me some likes," right? So if you want to win, if you want to be the best version of yourself, if you want to produce impact among the audience that you are called to serve, I'm talking about how do you do that? And I'm saying that you must show up. Show up. And showing up is not just about your physical presence. Showing up is about how you show up. Are you prepared? Are you committed? You know, are you offering something of value to people? Are you keeping learning? Do you keep learning the latest information? Do you know what are the latest needs of your clients? How do you serve them when you show up? So you need to keep learning. And if you don't keep learning, then you don't grow because learning is required for growth. If we are not learning new things or new ways of doing things, new ways of meeting the needs of those around us, it's not necessarily that your knowledge itself will change, but you may see things on a deeper level so that when you show up, you can actually provide value to those who are seeking what you are offering, right? And you must keep growing based on, you know, you can't stay at the same place all the time. You cannot stay at the same place because excellence is our act of worship, right? And remember that kingdom excellence is a magnet for God's favor. Whenever you do your best at whatever you do. Let me tell you something, you know, the universe, as some people will say, will notice that you are on a new pathway. It will provide you with all the resources that you need to to make the next move to go to your next level, right? And excellence is about showing up, doing your best, even when nobody is watching. In fact, it's most important that you are doing your best when nobody is watching because what you do in secret is what you will do in public. So if you don't show up for yourself in secret, then you can't show up in public. Do we have any questions? Our audience, let's get some questions from the audience and welcome to those who are watching on YouTube and those who are on TikTok. Thanks for joining me. So, everything I've shared tonight, the Mower's Code, the Daniel Mandate, the 3 habits of marketplace victory, this is the kind of intelligence that we unpack every month inside the Waymakers Alliance. So the Waymakers Alliance is a global community of marketplace ministers. We are Christian professionals. We serve in different places of, different parts of the marketplace in education, in health, government, business, finance. Some of us work in the prisons, some of us work in the classroom, some of us work in disability. And many of you, you know that you live your life in two folds. On Sunday or on the weekend, you go to work and you do your work on the weekends. And then on Monday, you put your uniform and your business suit on and you go back to work and you split your life into two. So you like your desk and your altar have nothing to do with each other, right? But we believe that whatever we do, whatever work we are assigned, whatever we area of the marketplace that we feel called to, we believe that area is truly your place of worship. Whatever you do it as unto the Lord, as the word of God says. Your role is a kingdom assignment. Yeah? Your role is kingdom assignment. So as you do this, you are not just in your professional sphere by accident. God has called you there so that you are there by divine assignment and by divine deployment. So every month, our members receive the Waymakers Intelligence Report. It's a full strategic briefing, like what I've shared a little bit on tonight. It includes live teaching, a private community. We get prophetic support. We pray for one another. We get practical tools and immediate application. So tonight, I share the highlights from our third edition of our intelligence report. And you can you can listen to this, and you can get access to this from our web page, right? So you can get access to this information from our web page, and you can join us anytime you want, right? So today, if you would love to be part of a community where you can get this kind of support to become more intentional, be more consistent, to receive prayer, to receive, just kingdom support, please check out the link in my bio, right? And if you want some support, please feel free that you're not alone and you don't have to figure this out by yourself. This is what the Waymakers Alliance is for. So we are coming to a close. I'd love to take some questions if you are really asking questions about how can you really show up at work? How can you become better at the work you are doing? Please feel free to put your questions in the chat. If you want to be more effective at work, right? I want to leave you with this. The robotic mower didn't need an audience to do its job. It didn't need applause. It didn't need a viral moment. It just needed its programming, its code, and its assignment. The same thing applies to you. The question is, you have a code, you have an assignment, and and you have a territory. Are you showing up faithfully, consistently, and quietly? Because that is where victory is built. Not in the moments when everybody is watching, not in the moments when you have applause, right? Not in the moments when everybody is watching what you're doing. It's in those very small moments when you are by yourself, in your quiet time, learning, applying your learning, showing up, and doing it well. So if today's session has added any value for you, please share this. Please share this live with someone. And you can follow me here on TikTok or watch my live streams on My Career, My Calling on the YouTube channel. Please watch out for more teachings, for more opportunities to connect. And if you would love to be part of the Waymakers Alliance, please look out for the link in the chat and join us at your convenience. All right. So if you would like to come on and ask any questions, this is your opportunity now to join me and to ask your questions. All right. So you can join the chat. You can ask your questions. All right. So I'll take a few moments to answer questions. Anyone? Any questions? Well, I'd love to say thank you once again for joining me on this live. And just to let you know, every now and then I'm up here, I'll share a few things. If what we are sharing today is edifying for you, if you'd love to hear more of this, please leave me a comment and let me know in the chat what are some of the topics you would love us to share as we share on this platform and bring more edification and encouragement to you. Until next time, I will see you in the next live. Until then, it's bye bye for now.